But I have friends who used to work for IGN who have said that the workplace at IGN was filled with racism and misogyny, and that it was a place where they couldn't advance because of that racism and misogyny. Right? What is IGN's response to that? This was amazing. This was dropping on Friday, and people were like, "You got to talk about this." And I think waiting to talk about this has been a good move, because this story has so many freaking layers to this. It's insane. Now, it starts, the top layer here has to do with a game called Black Myth Wukong. Okay. This is a game that's coming out later this year. And the developer was apparently approached by good old Sweet Baby Inc. to add representation to their game. Now, keeping in mind, this is a kind of a Souls-like game where you play as monkey men.
It's based on Journey to the West, which is an Asian fable.
So diversity is very much needed here. Thank you, Tiny Blabs. Diversity is very much needed here, as Sweet Baby Inc. apparently said that they will work with this company to add diversity for $7 million. That was their fee to work with them, which, by God, what a racket. What a racket. $7 million. Now, this is coming from the developer here. And this is to quote a post that they put up, I guess the studio dev. This is over on a platform here, which this is obviously not X, what a Weibo or whatever it is, over there. And this is translated here. It says, the reason why the team behind Black Myth Wukong has been subjected to persistent sexist attacks and slander since their first promotional video is because they have consistently refused political correctness guidance and rejected the extraordinate guidance fears of millions of dollars demanded by these political correctness teams. Actually, such teams are quite common in Europe and America. They interfere with the works of Assassin's Creed, Dying Light 2, and God of War by pushing for political correct female protagonist. These changes are the direct results of the interference and guidance of such teams. Game Science, which is the developers of the game, Game Science teams refuse to communicate with these groups and reject their interference. Most importantly, they refuse to pay the exorbitant $7 million in, quote, guidance fees. This is a direct reason why they are being attacked and slandered. Some justifications are based on the team's lack of diversity or representation, which doesn't align with the political correctness standards. A typical example of an article by a major IGN writer criticized Hogwarts Legacy and refusing to evaluate or promote it due to its alleged lack of political correctness. Okay. So
if that's real, that's insane that's how much. If that's how much a Sweet Baby makes, no wonder there's so many of these fucking companies popping up now. Right. That's a lot of money. For what?
For what? Exactly. For what? To say, no, you can't do that. Make sure, give her less shape. Give her, she needs to be realistic. Bring that
the skin tone there.
Right. Hey, Niantic, how about you
your pronouns?
Give her a bigger chin, right? give her
a flat ass.
Right. So this led people to an IGN article, specifically this IGN X post, which really says a lot here. It says indie souls like Black Myth Wukong has seen widespread acclaim since its reveal, but the studio behind it, Game Science, has long been plagued with accusations of sexism that reflect wider issues in the Chinese game industry. Our report. Now, this has then ultimately led to them absolutely getting ratioed, and we'll get to that here in just a second.
And community noted.
Yes. Well, they shut off responses to this tweet here, as only IGN, only accounts that IGN has mentioned here, but they have been ratioed and community noted.
Quickly becoming the new Kotaku, by the way. IGN is quickly becoming the new Kotaku.
Well, IGN, I will say this. They have been better than most outlets, right? There's the whole you can't spell ignorant without IGN, meme out there, right? And there's some aspect to that I definitely agree with, right? But I do feel that IGN, more than Kotaku, more than Polygon, do attempt to do journalism more so than bloggers at Kotaku and Polygon and go down the line, right? That they clearly missed out. They clearly missed here. Clearly missed. As we go back to Grums here. Grums, by the way, Grums has become like this.
Did they though?
What's that?
I feel like this is all intentional because of what that sweet baby lady said at conference. Oh, you don't want to pay? Well, let's scare the shit out of your marketing team. And maybe we can get you to walk that back and give us that money.
Right.
Because it's kind of funny. We see that they reject it. Now PC Gamer's jumping in on it. There's another outlet I saw that was starting to attack this game. And Grums, as you were I think you were probably about to say, IGN's been trashing them constantly for years.
Yes.
Kind of funny.
Yep. And as he says, and by the way, Grums has kind of become this like lives a TikTok aggregator for these stories. He does a really good job of aggregating the information here. So that's why we lean on. Oh God, do they hate him? Absolutely. So it says, turns out IGN has been hammering the slander on Game Science Studios for months. Every single article they write about Black Myth Wukong, they bring up the hit piece that they wrote about the game studio. Every single one. This isn't journalism. It's a hit job.
That's the same shit that they did with Hogwarts Legacy. Every article had mention of J.K. Rowling and her tweets. They're doing the same thing with this, attacking that game studio instead of talking about the game. It's such a fucking work. It's extortion. So
it goes back to why was IGN community noted here? Why were they community noted here? And this is why. Because they mishandled the translation of what the person was saying. It was obviously in various instances. They mishandled the translation with the Black Myth Wukong hit piece that they had wrote on their website. They didn't issue a retraction. And they talk about the authors here, Duck Valentine, who has since gone protected, and Crap Stacular, who also has gone protected during this.
Free Palestine. Look at that.
There you go.
And they call us chuds.
Yes. So they went in and they looked at some of these things that were said here, and they look. I don't speak this language, but you can see the differences right here between what they meant to say and what they like. They read it as this guy said, "I want to expand my circle and hire more people. Get licked until I can't get an erection."
Like a true Western localizer.
That's right.
Screwing it up.
That's so funny. So here it is. This is what it actually means. The way it translates literally to. It says, "Want to expand the circle and recruit a few more people, but got licked to the point of being unable to get an erection." This is used as an idiom in the Chinese language as a colloquial expression used humorously or sarcastically to describe a situation where excessive flattery and sycophancy has an overwhelming and paralyzing effect on somebody. The use of such metaphors can be found in informal speech and on social media, right? So it's like speaking sarcastically. So IGN, that's the thing about this, is when you have there's no context associated with this, right? The idea that like once again, somebody's gonna say, "I want to expand my circle and hire more people and get licked until I can't get an erection." Like, I guess, what does that even mean? Doesn't mean anything, but they ran with it. And it continues. Once again, there's so many layers, so many stinking layers associated with the story. So then IGN came out, and this all happened like the push of this really happened on Friday. This started to snowball, and over the weekend, it was like a constant story. So IGN then releases a statement on this, on the original Black Myth Wukong hit piece author, right? And they didn't address the mistranslated text, and then they specifically demand the developer to address the claims, her false claims against them, right? Here's the issue with these claims, and this is going to piss people off, but I have friends who used to work for IGN who have said that the workplace at IGN was filled with racism and misogyny, and that it was a place where they couldn't advance because of that racism and misogyny, right? But I have friends who used to work for IGN who have said that the workplace at IGN was filled with racism and misogyny, and that it was a place where they couldn't advance because of that racism and misogyny, right? What is IGN's response to that? An immense amount of misogyny at Kotaku, or there was an immense amount of feminism there, and it didn't allow for males to move up. How will Kotaku respond to that? And I feel like we should badger them every single time. But like, you can see just by me saying that, you go, oh shit, right? Not everybody in a team is going to agree with everything that's said, especially if you're like a Westerner looking at an Eastern company, a company in China with an entirely different culture. The idea that some stupid idiot chick out of San Francisco, who's probably never been to China, who probably doesn't understand the culture, doesn't understand the idiosyncrasies associated with that culture, to come out and be critical of that culture, it's fucking racist. It's racist, thinking she knows better. She knows better than those people. How racist can you be? Anyways, we continue. In this IGN, says demands the developers she attacked to defend her personally for making those claims, whines that there are no femme-coded characters in the game. I don't even know
what does that mean. Femme-coded characters?
Who
main character's
knows?
A monkey guy.
Yes, yes. I think it's important to bring it back to this is a game about fucking monkey men. Oh my God. So here we are. It's amazing. And journalists, and I use that term loosely, bloggers in the video game space, including PC Gamer, who has just jumped off the woke diving board into the deep end. PC Gamer has joined in pushing against the against game science and the video game, promoting the community noted misleading article in their new preview of the game. They come in, they talk about how the game is actually very good in their first couple hours of it. But they continue to talk about how in 2023, IGN reported a history of sexism, right? Once again, how is PC Gamer using IGN as an authority for any of this stuff?
But that's not
any sense at all.
That's not exclusive to just gaming. All those media outlets do it. They link to themselves. You can follow, play the game and follow the links. One time I did it and it went to a fucking blank page when I got to the end of it. Like they just cite themselves like they're the authority on everything. Just keep following the links and go to like everyone that cites itself. It's kind of interesting.
Well, this once again, there's so many layers associated with this, right? The idea of this whole thing started with the idea of like Sweet Baby Inc. approaching these companies and saying, "Hey," and by the way, like we'll just say DEI consulting firm approaching. We don't want to say Sweet Baby Inc. It's just DEI consulting firm approaches company, says you need to be more diverse, pay us X amount of money, right? That doesn't happen. That consulting firm goes to blogger friends, blogger friends then write story about it because, hey, we're friends, and how, hey, this is just because whatever. And this guy over here, Wolf Shed Online, talks about the absolute scam associated with this, how this works. Fake journalists and their canceled pick accomplice complain about the lack of representation. Number 2, video game studio cowers in fear because they may lose the ESG investment. Sweet Baby Inc. or just diversity consultant says, pay us money to make these problems go away. Number 4, video game company hires consulting firm. Consulting firm then injects video game with Marxist DEI nonsense. Fake video game journalists praise the studio's DEI efforts. Players get the horrible, unplayable woke game. Game flops. Studio closes. Lays off developers. Fake journalists blame racist, bigoted gamers. Then the whole thing starts over again, right? And the extortion associated with this. It's absolutely amazing. And of course, what you see, the normal men going out there, seeing what's happening with this. What is the natural thing to happen here, Flash, after all this chaos, this talk just over the weekend with Black Myth Wukong? That's right. It becomes the number 1 Steam requested game for Steam's wish list. Beating out 2 games by nearly 5 times as many. It's crazy.
Yeah,
and this goes back.
I wish listed it as well.
I mean, I'm gonna say this right now. This whole thing may be like a brilliant marketing play by Black Myth Wukong. Maybe, right? But I will say this, because some people have pointed that out. They've said, hey,
I don't think it is.
Well, okay. I always like to play devil's advocate with this stuff, because some people will say, hey, maybe they're just bullshitting. Maybe they're riding the wave of reactionary content, right? And they're pushing this narrative. Okay, if that's the case, all Sweet Baby Inc. has to do is say, we never did that. We never did that. We never showed up. And then guess what? Black Myth Wukong comes out. Game Science says, okay, here's the receipts. And they show the email receipts. They show the receipts of a meeting with Sweet Baby Inc. or Diversity Company, right? So if it never happened, like, I'm on the side of that, it probably did happen. Probably 90% chance that it did happen, because there has been no response from these companies saying, no, whoa, we never did this. Because I think that if they did do that, then the response from Game Science would be like, oh, really? Here you go. Here's your response, and here are your tickets. So that's kind of where we're at. I mean, it's really, the amount of layers associated with this are amazing. And I think the best way to wrap this up is a tweet that I put out that I think I'm, I've been talking with Malcolm from Basecamp. And by the way, we're dead serious about this. And this offer is legit. And I have not talked about this with Malcolm, but I'm saying this right now. This is a thing that I am dead serious about. Now, this is tongue in cheek, but I'm dead serious about this. I said, dear Ubisoft and Activision and the rest of the video game industry, my company will come in and help you regain your grasp of reality and help you clean house of those that infected your companies with cancerous, profit-denying ideology. Our fee is only $7 million.
It's a bargain.
Yeah, I know. I said, if you're not interested, I may have to have a conversation with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if you don't give us what we want. That's how this works, right, Sweet Baby Inc.? Right? Which, that tweet's kind of popped off for my Twitter account, which has been good. But by the way, this is the exact word for word thing that Kim Belair, Sweet Baby Inc. said. And I just felt like it's very important to put that in there. But I'm serious. We are gonna start an anti-woke company that is designed to be the bad guy and clean out these video game companies. Clear them
on
out.
this grift, Greg.
Hey, I think this isn't a grift. This is a purpose. This is a purpose to help give back at it, man. I'm serious, man. It was tongue in cheek, but it's very clear that it's needed. It is absolutely needed. So, and our fee is only $7 million. That's it. Only for this.
Cheap.
That's right. It's crazy how that works out.
Drop in the bucket.
That's right. What are we gonna do here? If you're nice, maybe we'll lower to $6,999,999.99.
Ooh, psychological pricing. I like it.
That's right. Could you imagine if like we got an email from somebody who's like in the marketing company over at Ubisoft, or they're like, please help. We'll do whatever you want. They're like, we just don't want to be the bad guy. I will be a consultant. I will fire the fuck out of people. I can't wait.
I've always been curious to how much it costs to bring these companies in. I thought maybe a couple $100,000, $7 million.
Me too.
Holy shit. That's insane.
Yes.
So what are they doing with it? Because they're hooked up with Xbox, all these companies. Like, I would love to see what's going on behind the scenes there.
Man, I agree. Like when I saw $7 million, like Kim Belair is rich as fuck. If that's the case, like
reminds me of it's like the Black Lives Matter stuff. You saw what the people that were higher up in that, what they were doing with the movie. That one woman has like extravagant house out in LA.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They have mansions like next to Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah.
Hey, pointed out right here. Craig and Malcolm are going to be like Bob and Bob from The Office. We come in and be like, so what do you say you do here at Ubisoft? What do you say?
Talk to the goddamn customer.
That's right. I make the butts flatter. I make them more androgynous. What do you think I do here? Oh, that'd be so great, man. That'd be so freaking funny. Oh my God. Well, there we are. That is the ins and outs of where things stand right now. And all IGN has to do is make a retraction here. Or all they have to do is not be cat shit insane. I think it is important, though, that maybe you all hire some sort of investigative journalist behind the scenes. And I've said this before. I would love to get somebody inside IGN to see how they're really running. I have friends there now, but they've been there for too long, right? I'll get somebody new to kind of see how it is, but it'd be funny. It'd be interesting. All right, let's do Flash. You got anything to close on that before we move on?
I think it's been pretty covered. It's just if that's true, this should be a bigger story than it is.
I agree.
And I think it's funny that once again these people show themselves. They don't cover it. They don't talk about it. If anything, they're going to blame us, call us the misogynists that are throwing out these wild stories. It's just wild to me. And they're burying themselves, digging their own graves with this shit, losing more and more credibility. It just seems like a pretty piss poor business model to me.
Well, $7 million ain't that piss poor.
But IGN's not getting that money.
That's true. That's true.
They're not. What are they getting out of it? Little juice money?
Yeah. Who owns IGN at this point? That's the question here. Is like maybe that's where we start here. They're owned by Ziff Davis still. Okay, so Ziff Davis has been around for a long time. And Ziff Davis, that's the other question. Who owns Ziff Davis? Does somebody own Ziff Davis? They're a publicly traded company. Ziff Davis has been around for a long time. 96 years. Holy shit.